Hello and welcome to this Warhammer 40k Let's Build Some Eldar Lists video with me, Marc, from the Xenovids channel. So today in this video we're going to have a look at Codex Eldar Craftworlds. I've been reading this over the last few days. Again, it's the thickest of all the codexes, and I really like it. I love the way the artwork and all the stories are in there. It seemed more detailed than the other 7th edition ones. It kind of should anyway, because the Eldar have been around for a millennia, if not more. Going through the rules, it does look like everything kind of got a buff. As an Eldar player, I like this. I'm sure Ian does not. So, I've written a few lists, including one I'm going to start fielding quite soon for some friendly battle reports. And the ones I've written are for the all the different craft worlds. Well, the main ones anyway. So let's take a look at what I have written first. Okay, first up, Iandan. Now, Iandan is a craft world of the dead, essentially. There was so much war has happened to them. They had a huge conflict with Tyranids that almost wiped them out, and now they kind of rely on using the spirit stones of deceased Eldar in Wraith constructs and structures. So Wraith Guard, Wraith Blades, Wraith Lord and Wraith Knights is kind of what they focus and rely on a lot. So I've incorporated that into here. Now let me say the list may not be the most competitive, but it is a fluffy list that you can build if you wanted an Iandan kind of army. So what I've done here, it is slightly unbound and it's only 19,045 points. I tend to want to make 2,000 point armies. That's what me and Ian make. So let's start with the main faction. We've got the Wraith Host faction, which is it needs a Spirit Seer, Wraith Blades or Wraith Guard ×3, a Wraith Lord and a Wraith Knight. Now if you have this formation, all those models get battle focus, so they're able to move and then they're able to run and then shoot, or shoot then run. Why is that important? Well, with the Wraith models, especially the Wraith Guard and with their 2 different types of weapons, range isn't on their side. 12 inches isn't a lot, and like I said in the Codex review with Ian, 12 inches means your opponent is going to be charging you very soon. So if you're within 12 inches, you're going to get that one shot off, and that's it. Unless you're firing against, say, a pure vehicle army. But 9 times out of 10, are you going to get those Wraith shots off when you want them to? So battle focus helps that. So it elongates the range essentially from 12 inches to a minimum of 13 and a maximum of 18, because with battle focus you can run and shoot, or shoot and run. Also, as an added benefit, you can re-roll failed to hit rolls of enemy models that are within 18 inches of the Spirit Seer. So for this formation, the Spirit Seer is 70 points. The Wraith Blades, I've gone with a unit of Wraith Blades to put the Spirit Seer in, and they can walk up the field and protect him. They're 150 points. Then I have 2 full squads of 2 squads of Wraith Guard. They're 160 points each normally for 5, and I've put them in Wave Serpents, 2 Wave Serpents. So that's 540 points for those 2 units. The reason I've done this is, again, they don't have the range, so shoot them up the field as much as possible. Wave Serpents are still great, and then you can come out on your turn when you want and shoot down vital targets. I've got a Wraith Lord there. Not one of the best unit choices, but with this formation you have to take a Wraith Lord. Now I've given it 2 Bright Lances. So then you've got a toughness 8 Wraith Lord, essentially, who is a mobile shooting creature, really. So it can move 6 inches, and then it will be able to run and shoot now with battle focus, making that 36-inch range of a Bright Lance even more, rivaling that of a las cannon almost, which is good. You don't want to be outgunned by your opponents, and now you're not. 2 bright lances just to help with any heavy vehicles that are going to get in your way. And then the Wraith Knight, I've just kept it, 295 points Wraith Knight, a gargantuan jump creature with 2 D weapons on it, and in combat it has Stomp, is good enough for me. That's 1295 points alone. So that Wraith Host on its own, not a huge amount of upgrades there, but that's coming close to a 1500 point army. So already, an Iandan army, you can make a smaller version of what the list I'm making just using the Wraith Host. Added on to that, to kind of be with the theme of that, I've got a Hemlock fighter thing. D weapons, it's a psychic plane, it kind of works with it. Then I've gone for a second Wraith Knight, 295 points, just because it is an Iandan force. Then Prince Uriel, 140 points, because he is the fluffy choice, really, for an Iandan army. And then if you want to bulk up the points to 2000, you can add some Val's Wrath support, the artillery thing, just to bulk it up, so then you have a large blast artillery thing in your army as well, and that's just kind of for tactics, really. There's not a lot of blast weapons in there, and if you're going against a Horde army, it would help. So that's the Iandan force, just under 2000 points. What do you think? Would you use this list? It's a bit fluffy and a bit competitive. 2 Wraith Knights is never anything to cry about or moan about. I think it's alright. Okay, next is the Samhan, or Samhan, however you pronounce it, army list that I've written. Again, around 2000 points. I've gone with the Windrider Host, which requires you to have a Farseer, a Warlock Conclave, some Windrider jet bikes, and Viper Squadron. Now, I've gone with a Farseer, 100 points, given him a jet bike, so that makes 115 points altogether. The Warlock Conclave, I've got 3 of them for 150 points. 150 points because they're on jet bikes as well. 3 units of 10 Windrider jet bikes. Haven't upgraded them to the star cannons and stuff like that. A, for points cost, and B, the formation they're in wouldn't benefit them. And a Viper Squadron, 3 of those with a Bright Lance on each of them, just so you've got a squad which can manoeuvre around and fire a Bright Lance. Now, this formation gives you a special rule that for 1 turn, as long as the Farseer and the Conclave are still alive, the unit has the shred. Every shuriken weapon has shred. So on the bikes, that is a rerollable to hit because it's a twin linked, and rerollable to wound because it's shred, which essentially gives you a huge amount of shots against either Terminators or those Horde armies that you can do, which is brilliant. Backing them up, Crimson Death formation, which is, or detachment, whichever one it's called, a Crimson Hunter, the fighter plane, ×2, and a Crimson Hunter upgraded to an Exarch, that's 160. So that totals 440, that little formation. The Windrider Host formation I just spoke about is 925, get it out like that. Now the Crimson Death, I've gone for that formation or detachment because you get preferred enemy on flying monstrous creatures and flyers. Now you're going to have a lot of shots killing a lot of things, and if they run out of flyers, you then have Bright Lances and stuff like that to fire at vehicles. You also get a 4-up cover save, just standard. So you don't have to worry about a Jinx save, you just rely on the cover save, which means in your next turn you then can just shoot normally. I've gone for Engine of Val kind of formation-y thing. You don't get any added benefits, but free fire prisms is never something to moan about. That's 125 points each, times 3 is 375. You can either have them as shooting their large blasts separately or merge them all together for a single shot, and it's a higher strength and lower AP. And just to help with them, you've got Engines of Vow, which is, I've put 2 Night Spinners in. So you can have 2 large blast monofilament weapons shooting at your opponent, which then can leave the fire prisons to do lance shots, as well as the flyers, as well as the Viper Squadron. So you've got options there to fire at troops and heavy vehicles as well. So I've gone for a lot of vehicles and jet bikes in this for the Samhain army. And let me know what you think of this one. Okay, next is Offway Army. Offway being the black and kind of bone colour scheme. They're very dark and moody and live near the Eye of Terror. So, of course, fluff-wise, gone for a Seer Council. One Farseer, 100 points. Another Farseer, 100 points. And then a Warlock Conclave of 5 of them, 175 points. This allows them to reroll Warlord traits, and they generate Psychic Warp charges on a 3-up rather than a 4-up. That's 570 points for that unit. Then obviously I've got Eldrad being the fluffy option for them, 195 points. I've then gone with a Guardian Storm Host formation. Now this is a Farseer. Again, Seer Councils are quite psychic. 100 points. 3 units of Storm Guardian. 72 points times 3 is 216. In this formation, they don't have to pay for the Flamer and Fusion, so each of those units have 2 Fusion Blasters in them, and each of those units are with a Wave Serpent, making that little squad 546 points altogether. Those 3 together. So you have 6 fusion shots, but you can have 2 at different targets and all that malarkey, if you understand the tactics of my jumbled words. A Viper Squadron with Bright Lances again, just giving you that manoeuvrability to shoot. A Warwalker Squadron, and I've gone with Bright Lances and Star Cannons. Yes, Star Cannons. 270 points, just so you can have, I think they have outflanks, you can come in the side and just kind of pick and choose what you're going to shoot at. And 3 Val's Wrath with D cannons, just because D cannons are funny. And to finish that off, a Hemlock Jet, again psychic, and gives you some D shots and some air support. That's just under 2,000 points as well. Oh, and also a point with the Guardian Stormhost formation. Not only do you not pay for the Fusion Blasters and the Guardians, but you get to re-roll shots, anything within 12 inches of those Guardians. So yeah, that's the Offway Army. Quite offensive army with quite a lot of Psychers in there, hopefully doing some damage. Next list is an Eleotic? I don't speak Eldar. Starting off with some Guardian Battle Host, a Farseer for 100 points, 3 Guardian Defenders, 270 points each, 3 sets of Bright Lances, a Viper Squadron with Bright Lances, 150 points, a unit of Warwalkers, again with Bright Lances and Star Cannons, 210, and 3 Val Wraths with D Cannons as well, and that makes 820 points for that formation. And what that benefits you being the Guardian Defenders do not have to pay for the upgrade for the heavy weapons platform. I've then gone for Heroes of the Craftworld character, Illic Night Spear, 140 points. He is the sniper man of the Aelitic. And then I've gone for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units of 10 Rangers. That is 80 Rangers. One of those units will be with Illic, but if you just imagine it, you've got your artillery, your Guardians, all firing again with the Viper Squadron, Bright Lances and D weapons, making your opponent be like, oh, I've got to deal with these. You've got war walkers coming in from the side, and rangers. A lot of sniper shots, just picking off all the troops and just demoralising your opponent, really. And with Illic, they're going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the fluffiest, and on paper I think it's the least competitive, but it's going to probably be one of those lists that if you actually tried it out, if you had that many rangers, it could actually be quite devastating. The final fluffy list is a Bile-Tan / Aspect Fun list. Again, 2,000 points. I've gone with the Avatar of Kane, 195 points. The Crimson formation with the fighter planes and an Exarch in there, again giving them preferred enemy to flying monstrous creatures and flyers, and a 4-up cover save. I've gone for an Aspect formation, having 3 units of different Aspect warriors. I've gone with a unit of 10 Howling Banshees and a Wave Serpent. Howling Banshees got a lot better with their Banshee Mask. You can't overwatch them now, which is particularly devastating against Tau, who their special rule is if you have a unit being charged by your opponent, another unit can shoot at them. It's called Supporting Fire. It's now useless against Banshees. Then a squad of Striking Scorpions, 10 of those for 170. They can outflank. And Fire Dragons in a unit within a Wave Serpent as well, 220. And with that Aspect formation, I can choose to +1 to the ballistic skill or weapon skill of all my Aspect warriors for that turn, I think it is. And then they get to re-roll morale, pinning, and fear tests. I've then gone for that again, Aspect warriors. Swooping Hawks with an Exarch, so they will be, if you have an Exarch in there with the Swooping Hawks, they deep strike and don't scatter. So what they'll do is they'll deep strike in, and with their new special rule, they'll move over a flyer and then do haywire shots against the flyer. I've then got 10 Warp Spiders, which will warp in and shoot their devastating weapon. And then I've gone for, a bit risky, 10 Dark Reapers with Starshot missiles. That's 370 points alone, that unit, but that is a 10-man squad, which will benefit from the +1 ballistic skill. So you're hitting on 2s with a weapon that could be Strength 5 AP free or Strength 8 AP free. And if I remember rightly, that's 3 shots each for the Strength 5. No, 2 shots each, and then 1 shot for the Strength 8. So that is a unit of 10. That's 20 shots on 2 ups, killing a unit of Space Marines in a turn. So that just wipes a unit out. And then you have your other Aspect warriors focusing on the best bits they can do. Fire Dragons on vehicles, for example, which now have a +1 on the penetrating hit table when they hurt a vehicle. And then I had a few points left over, and I just got a unit of Shining Spears because they can have an Exarch in there, so they're kind of aspecty. And that makes 1,990 points, and that's the Bile-Tan / Aspect Fun list from the Codex that I've made. Okay, and to conclude, I have written a 2,000 point list that I would like to use with this Codex. It is combining things that I like and using new things that I have never used before but look really good on paper. So I've gone with a detachment formation thing, the Battle Host. I've gone with a Farseer for 100 points, 3 units of Guardians with heavy platform of Bright Lances, a Viper Squadron, 3 Vipers with a Bright Lance each on them, a unit of War Walkers with Bright Lance and Star Cannon on them, a unit of 3 Val's support batteries with D cannons, just for the fun of it. And again, I don't have to pay for the heavy platform. And I get preferred enemy to any enemy models within 12 inches of the Guardians, but they will be probably at the back of the unit, of the army. I've then gone with the Avatar, the Lord of War leading it, a Crimson Fighter Exarch, just to give me that help in the air, a unit of Wraith Guard with Wave Serpent, just to try them out. Again, they've got D weapons, could be interesting to take down the, those vehicles. A small squad of Windrider jet bikes, so a squad of 3 of them, just to try and sneak objectives. And a Wraith Knight for 295 points, because I love a Wraith Knight. And a Fire Prism, because Fire Prisms are still great. That's 1991 points. Quite similar to what I used to use. It does now exclude Warp Spiders, Fire Dragons, and Dire Avengers. Not that those units are bad now, it's just I've included the Battle Host formation, which means I need to make room for those War Walkers and Val's Wrath support. The tactics for that list is having the Farseer kind of be near the Guardians and the support artillery, helping that. The Viper Squadron and the War Walkers going to do their thing and choose the targets they need to take down with their weapons. The Avatar will stay back if I have a drop pod army against me, or just trundle forward and being a magnet for fire. The Crimson Exarch, flyers and vehicles. The Wraith Guard, don't know yet. Don't know how good they are, so have them in the Wave Serpent going forward. Again, against the armoured squadron, they would be good. Or against anything that they can get their shots against, they'll kill, but then they'll probably be charged. The Windriders, again, for just taking an objective. And the Wraith Knight, kill things. And the Fire Prism, I've got the options there for a Lance, Small Blast, or Large Blast against various troops. So yeah, shooty army mostly. I mean, the Wraith Knight can go into combat and it has the ability to stomp because it's a gargantuan creature. And 7th edition is a shooty game. And I have a Farseer just to kind of support my units. So tell me what you think about all the lists. Which one in particular do you like the most? My list, do you think it would do well against armies you've seen on the channel? And let me know what you think of the new Eldar Codex. I'm loving it. Obviously, being the Eldar player, I'm going to love it. And I do think it is extremely powerful. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Marc from the Xenovids channel. Please comment, share, like and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.